Good morning. Welcome to a special edition of Truth to Power. I'm your host, Darwin Griffin, and we are joined here in the studio with Mr. Norman Clement of Detroit Change Initiative. And what we're going to pretty much like do a deep dive this early. There's been a lot that's been going on in the news. And before we get to that, I just want to say and extend a prayer to the Willis family. So just want to let our general manager at the station know that we are keeping her and her family lifted up, as we always do, in our thoughts and prayers. So those of you today, when you get on with your prayer partners and your other prayer warriors, to just keep the Willis family lifted up in your thoughts and prayers this morning. But also, just wanted to say I moderated a candidate meet and greet yesterday evening out in Livonia, and there's about 18 people that are running for 4 spots for city council in the city of Livonia. And I got a chance to meet about 14 of those 18 people that are running. And I just want to say again to the residents, to the candidates, that we had a very, very, very rewarding and memorable candidate forum. There was civility that was met throughout everyone that was there. Everybody kept their cool. And there was no infighting or no fighting between candidates, or there weren't people that were there that were arguing with candidates about past record, because there's a couple of candidates that are running for re-election. As many of you may know, they staggered their elections, so it's not like how it is in Detroit where it's every 4 years and everyone runs together. Theirs is staggered, so you may have somebody running 2 years, then 4 years, and then 2 years. So it's staggered like that part. So there's never a term where in an election they're looking to fill all of the seats that are available. So, but I just want to tip my hat off to those that came, those that participated. And this was a forum that was conducted by the Political Action Committee for Western Wayne County NAACP. And my hat goes out to our president, Gina Wilson Stewart, to many of the volunteers that assisted in making sure that everything went well, to the political action chair, Larry Biggs and his wife, Jerry, to Laura Dudgeon, to Donna Wilson, Ruby Richards, Swatu Wilson, and Connie Mitchell, and a host of others that were involved in making certain that we set everything up. Also including Xavier Jones, who I'm looking for him to be my second hour guest on the show today as well, to talk about young people and what's going on in a lot of the circles that young people are existing in. But today, I just want to talk about, there's been a lot of things that's been going on in the news, a lot of media, a lot of innuendo, a lot of facts, a lot of rumor, a lot of things that's going on when it comes down to the mayoral race, when it comes down to the city council races. So there's a lot to talk about this morning. So we're gonna just kind of dive into some of those different topics that's going on. But also, too, I just want to say, I'd be remiss if I didn't say that there's our hearts, our sympathies, our condolences are with many families that have lost some of their relatives and loved ones within this past couple of weeks. Just looking at the people that we've lost, starting with Malcolm Jamal Warner. And I mean, so many of us, flooded social media talking about his life and the time that he spent on the Cosby Show and some of the other things that he's done since the Cosby Show, but how they grew up with Theo Huxtable. And it was such a sad, read that I know many of us had when we read the fact that he had drowned, while vacationing several days ago. And, we all had our favorite Theo moments on the Cosby Show. I still think about it every time I hear the song Night and Day. I'm seeing Theo descending down the stairs with his tipping his hat off, and all of the Huxtable girls just doing their little routine to Night and Day, and then Bill Cosby coming out and howling, and little Rudy saying "baby." But then also to the Chuck Mangione, had transitioned. Also to Connie Francis transitioned, and I'm thinking about one other person.
Hulk Hogan.
I was thinking about to say Hulk Hogan, but there was another person that also transitioned.
He's a young. He played with. He was with a group called City High. He was a singer for Singing High with Sister Act 2.
Okay.
He transitioned this week. There's a lot of big names, and especially with Malcolm Jamal Warner, passing, drowning, but he saved his daughter.
Yeah.
And that's the thing where, as a parent or a loved one who have kids that, you put your life on the line for your kids. And sad example, but that's what that man did. And all the work he did as far as the community, as far as the poetry reading, education, the inspired folks to go to college, teaching. Malcolm Jamal Warner left a hell of a legacy left for his kids. So this was a lot of great ones passed. A lot of great ones passed this week. So
yeah, and when you just mentioned about Hulk Hogan, I grew up watching him wrestle. I'm not saying I was one of the Hulkamaniacs,
right?
But I love seeing him and his 52-inch pythons. I think he used to call his arms. But he was great entertainment for back then the WWF and now the WWE.
Right.
And his family, our hearts and condolences go out to him. I mean, when people, the last time I saw Hulk Hogan in the national spotlight I was down in Fort Lauderdale last year for the APRI conference, and he was there with President 47, and when they were going through their Republican convention,
right,
and he came out on stage and did his typical Hulk Hogan, where he tore his T-shirt open, and,
right,
and that kind of thing. But that was his signature trademark. So again, our sympathies and condolences go out to his family.
Yeah.
But I know there's another person, because I see this. I saw a little something on the people posted on Facebook. They were posting the picture of the people that have gone too soon.
Yeah.
And I know there's another person. I don't want to be remiss and not remember the name, so I will find that person out before we go on to the next half an hour of the show today.
Yeah.
But right now, Norman, there's so much that is going on now. I mean,
where to start?
I guess we got to pick someplace to start at.
We'll stick with local. I mean,
yeah, let's look at the local,
because national looks like season 9 of America, right? Another TV show right now, but even in the local politics right now, this is the last pitch effort of folks who are on the ground. Folks are voting right now. July 26th, we'll have our table. We'll be at the West Grand Boulevard city clerk's office. They're having an event for voting, get out the polls. Event coming up. So it's early.
That's right there, the Boulevard near Second, Third.
Right there. And so we're going to have a get out the vote event. But a lot of your local officials or folks who are running to be elected leaders are out there talking to people, hitting doors, Town halls meetings. There was a meeting last night from the Detroit Parks Coalition, put on by Palmer Park at Unity Baptist Church. It was at the band shell, but it was too hot, so we went to Unity Baptist Church. And candidates came. All the candidates did not come. We were only missing two. But most of them, well, three, but most of them all came. Even the ones who are write-ins came, and they talked about the importance of the park. This is the time where I tell all candidates who are running for anything, don't believe the hype. When we do our polling, we would knocked on doors. We doing phone banking. We asked folks, okay, are you going to vote? Who are you looking to support? 10% of the people have they selected their folks. 90% we talked to people said, I don't know. Who should I vote for?
So that's a good point that you bring up, Norman, because right now there's a lot of information that's being disseminated out by people about candidates right now.
Right.
Even though the absentee ballots have gone out, and like you just said,
Right.
a lot of people have already voted.
Right.
Already. But then there are going to be early voting sites that people can go and vote at
Right.
as well.
Absolutely.
And then also on August the 5th, they can vote in person
Right.
at their polling precinct.
Yep.
But it's just been interesting because we've had elections in the past where it seems like maybe days or weeks before the election, a lot of information is being disseminated out through the media, through the news, through Facebook or other sources,
Right.
and just bringing to light some things about a candidate
Right.
that may be running.
Yeah. So right now, this is the point where you see a lot of the mismessaging, candidate bash and stuff that comes out there to hurt a candidate. But the important about that is that this is the last pitch of the candidates to go and talk to people about how to make that last pitch, how to talk to them. That last pitch, because people are voting every day, knocking on that door. That one something that, what, I was going to vote for somebody, but I like what he said. He changed my mind. Those things really matter right now, especially with 90%. This is when we're knocking on doors, we're doing banking calls. Most of the older folks that we talk to pretty much already voted and they made up their mind. The other folks who are new Detroiters, those who are new to the demographics of Detroit, who are not from here, that started here, there is a legit I don't know. And so there's a lot of assumptions out there right now of candidates that think they're going to go through. I tell every candidate right now, you push like you're down 50 points, no one heard of you, you earn everybody's vote because that may be the difference to get you through. Remember to make the primary, and so that's what that's what I'm seeing out here in the street, and then it's walking to. But also too, we could talk later on about the candidates, misinformation, disinformation that's going on out there. But also, if there's information that it is there, you have to own it.
Yeah,
you have to own it.
And right now, when we look at the Detroit mayoral race. There's a lot of speculation about who's the front runner and who are the other, individuals that may also be front runners, as well.
Right.
Right now, it seems like the majority of people that are talking about the polls, and you know how polls can be,
Right.
are saying that the clear front runner is Mary Sheffield, the city council president of Detroit.
Yeah, and I can see that because Mary's been out there for 3 years running, talking about her policies, what she wants to do in the city. So she's literally been running for 3 years, and she's been at every event. She's been on the ground. And so she's built that fortitude of, hey, Sheffield. That may, for 90% that don't know, they know, I'm going to go with Sheffield because she's been out here. And I've seen her all the time, and I talked to her. I'm going to talk to Sheffield. That plays a factor with another candidate who's just jumped in the race and trying to start from then and there. Is about what have you done for me lately and who you are. That plays a bigger part in the role of people's minds. So, of course, Mary should be up there. But also, if I was Mary's camp, I will not rest on them morals alone. I'll still be hitting these doors, and especially in districts where no one's going, 3 and 4. And so hitting those doors, talk to everybody you can, get out the vote, because we're gonna have I think we're gonna have a higher turnout than before, but for any primary election, but because people are heightened right now.
Well, and the thing is that we've got candidates now, as you mentioned. Okay, Sheffield may be the person that a lot of the polls are showing is leading,
Yeah.
but then you've got other candidates that are also in the mix
Yeah.
that shouldn't be discounted. And it's interesting some of the things that have come out recently about candidates.
Yeah.
And one of the candidates that is really come out in the media is Solomon Kinloch.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that, there was a report that was on one of the local channels that mentioned something about Kinloch. And I know I looked at social media and I was seeing all the people that chimed in to talk about what's going on and, what's happening in terms of, say, with Kinloch. So I think we got a caller to call in. Caller, you're on the air with myself and Norman Clement. This is Truth to Power.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good
How
morning.
are you?
I'm good. My name is Dorothy Wesley. I thought about calling in for a good little while, but I decided to do it simply because in the 27 years that I've known Solomon Kinloch, he is my pastor, but he's my friend as well. He's never done one thing that I can say I would be ashamed of. Also, I'm not the kind of person that goes to a church and just goes on Sundays. I've been a worker from day one, so I know him very well. Secondly, I just didn't feel like I should have to defend something from 32 years ago or whatever the time was, because I don't know what the ins and outs of that is. But he could have only been 19 or 20 years old. Come on, y'all. Really? Secondly, aren't we tired of these kinds of political nonsense back and forth? Let's talk about what people do now, what they've done what are they doing now? Why do we always have to bring up negative? I'm sick of negative politics, and I've been in the politics thing for quite a while. I pay attention. I'm not going to talk bad about anybody. I just want to talk about what are you going to do now. So that's all I got to say. Let's get past all this negative. We got enough of that going on in the outside world. Detroit needs integrity. Detroit needs integrity. I've been a Detroiter all my life. I'm not going to go anywhere. I just want a different kind of politics.
Well, and that's
And if
something.
you got to go back 32 years to find something on somebody, that's just a little bit. Seems like you're running scared.
Yeah, it is, and it's a tactic that is used in all levels of politics. If when you run for elected office, you understand that you're a risk for anything. And so, with this case, it happened when he was 19 years old. That might be before he gave his life to Christ.
No, it was not.
Oh no, it wasn't. It was before or after.
It doesn't matter.
Well,
It's 32 years ago.
Ma'am,
what
hold
has
on.
he done in those 32 years?
Ma'am,
Let's
hear me
not
out.
talk again.
Ma'am.
I'm not going to defend what I don't know
hear me
anything
out.
about.
What I'm saying is this. He has to own that mistake he did, but he has to move on from it, which he's done. And that shouldn't have mattered. That's all I'm saying. So the thing is that he has to own the accountability that it happened years ago.
What makes you think he didn't own it? If he did it.
Ma'am, it's in public light. And so when you're running for elected official, these are the things that take place. Understand that we have a man in the White House that did some stuff years ago that what has he done? He still counted it, and he put this man in office. So the thing is that the people have a right to ask that question. It's like, okay, he's accounted for it now. He has said to own it. It happened in the past. He apologized
Well, I'm
for
pretty
it.
sure that everybody that's running has done something in the past.
You're absolutely right, ma'am.
But the difference is, I know my pastor ain't going looking for what somebody did in the past. He want to know what you're doing now.
Right. And what I'm saying is, as a elected official who's running to represent the city of Detroit, unfortunately, these things happen. But but if and it's not saying that he can't overcome it. He's already said he already talked about it. Yep, he's overcoming it. He's already talked about that. If he acknowledged it and talked about it and moved past that with a plan for the city of the future, people will buy that, because guess what? Detroit is also a city of second and third and fourth chances. We have people who have made mistakes in the past, who have learned from their mistakes and have thrived on. People are not going to sit there and pick and choose what's going on. But what the people do understand is this: you can't hide from it, you can't run from it, you can't say it don't matter. All you have to say is, look, I've done that, I'm accountable for my actions, I've owned it, I've moved past that, and this is what the visions that I have a second chance, to guess what, to give you a second chance for the city of Detroit. That should be his pitch. That's it. Focus on the future.
I personally, sir, do not believe not a word you're saying. Okay, because what you're doing is trying to put him in a box where he has to own up to something that you don't and I don't know the full extent of what it is. Again,
ma'am,
I'm sick of these kinds of politics.
But ma'am, I'm also,
and I think most people are.
Ma'am,
I'm not going to talk about it anymore. I'm good.
Okay, we'll agree to disagree. But I'm just coming as a organizer that works in the city of Detroit, that have talked to many people every single day that may not share the same site as you, but these basic questions do happen. Folks want accountability. Folks want to know their leaders are doing the right thing, not all the time, but if they did something wrong, hold it, be accountable about it, talk about it, and move on from it about the lessons that you have. When you hide from it, you don't talk about it, accuse going back and forth, you bring more light to it. So guess what? If it's come out, don't hide from it. Hey, acknowledge what happened or did happen or didn't happen. Be accountable for whatever happened. Move on from that. He's a pastor of a church. He's had 6 churches. He's done beautiful things with his wife. He has a new wife, a beautiful son. And so move on from that and talk about the things you're going to do now. When you don't talk about it, when you go him and haw and back and forth about it, you bring more attention to it. And then people don't trust you because guess what? You're not being accountable to the things you've done in the past. People want accountability. People want tangibility. People want to deal with the truth. When the truth comes, the lie die. And the point is this: once you own it, if you've done it, own it, be accountable to it. Be accountable to it, but also say, hey, that was 30-something years ago. I was a different man. I'm a changed man now, since 32 years from now. I have moved on from that. And this is what I'm going to do for the city of Detroit. We have 32 years of great things going on, and I want to share those great things with you. If I'm an elected official, if I'm his team, that's what I'm saying to the people every single day on the street right now.
All right. Dorcine Wesley, thank you for calling in. And we got to take a break. But Dorcine, thank you again. And our best wishes go to you and your pastor in terms of saying this upcoming election in August. So again, we got to take a break, and we'll be right back with Norman Clement, and we'll be joined shortly with Joe Person in the studio with us as well. You're watching Truth to Power. I'm your host, Darwin Griffin. Stay tuned.
Feel good about your future with tuition-free programs at Wayne County Community College District. Whether you want to be in healthcare, computer science, the culinary arts, digital media, or robotics and automation for the next generation of vehicles, WCCCD has you covered. A full range of programs to achieve your goals, fit your schedule, and give you all the support you need to be successful. all of it tuition-free. Now there's something to feel good about. Register today at wcccd.edu.
Muscles, joints, or feet tired, achy, or distressed? Tried everything? Ringmaster Rubbing Oil is a vintage topical pain reliever, trusted for over 70 years, with a rich formula for the treatment of stubborn aches and pains. Packaged in a glass bottle for purity, our liquid can also be used in warm water for foot soaks and compresses. A little goes a long way. Try our time-tested formula, available in several sizes.
Make a donation to WHBR-TV and receive 2 2-ounce bottles of Ringmaster Rubbing Oil for $25. Call 313-868-6612.
Every Monday through Friday from 12 noon to 3 p.m., it's the Tavis Smiley Show, distributed by R.J. Watkins Studios.
Clean up on aisle 5. Sounds like my life right now. Just one big mess.
What's going on?
It's my property taxes.
What?
I am behind and I am so worried that I'm going to lose my house. I can pay some of it, but I can't pay it all at once.
Sorry to interrupt. I'm Eric Sabree, the Wayne County Treasurer. The last thing I want is for anyone to lose their property to tax foreclosure. We have assistance programs to help.
For more information, go to treasurer.waynecounty.com.
We're here to help.
All media platforms are engaged. Copy. Get ready to launch your show or product. Periscope ready. We're 5x5 ready to launch. Copy that. Trend worldwide across all major platforms.
Ignition. 3, 2, 1.
The world is waiting. Watkins Broadcasting. More than just TV.
Block time is available. Get yours. Call 313-868-6612. That's 313-868-6612. Executive producer R.J. Watkins. Program director Henry Tyler. 107.5 FM. WGPR HD3. RadioWeCanSee.com.
Again, welcome. You are watching a special edition of Truth to Power. I'm your host, Darwin Griffin, and we are joined in the studio today with Norman Clement and also with Joe Person. And neither one of them are strangers to the show. We are very, very fortunate to have them, with us today. But I just want to say this too, that I appreciate the caller, Dorsey Wesley, calling in. And, echoing some of the things that, she was feeling very passionate about, her pastor, Pastor Kenlock, who's a candidate for the mayor seat in the city of Detroit. But if you each wanted to make little closing comments pertaining to not so much about what she said, but in terms of say about that, because right now there's a lot of people on social media that are really coming out for and against it. But I'll let you, Joe, since you just came in.
Let's be realistic. You're running for office. When you run for office, things are going to be said, whether they're right or wrong, things are going to be said. You're running for office, okay? As I said, I think it was 2 weeks ago when I did the disclaimer, and I'll always do the disclaimer. This is my opinion, not the TV show's opinion. When you run for office, politics is a blood sport. You're talking about millions and possibly billions of dollars here. So people are going to come out and they're going to fight tooth and nail. That doesn't mean that he's not a good person, he's not going to be a good mayor, or any of the rest of them, the same thing. But at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, it's politics. And he has to, I tell him, keep his head to the ground, go work, go win it. The people, the lady that called in, you believe that? Okay. You're for your pastor. I don't have a problem with that. I need you to get out there and go knock 300-400 doors for him.
I think that's the part that we were talking about that was missing about that exchange. And the thing is that it's called opposition research.
That's what it's called.
Opposition research. When you're running, it's totally different as running as a representation of your church. But when you're running as the city of Detroit, as the #1 executive in the city of Detroit, Detroit is an international city.
Yes.
Detroit is billions and billions of dollars of decision-making, policy-making on the best of the citizens, business owners, and possibly the state of Michigan. It's called opposition research because, again, everything that you have done since the age of 1 year old all the way till now will be research history. It's just like going to the NFL. They'll do an opposition research on anybody they're drafting, anybody that's going on, what's his pros, what's his cons, his backstory, your credit score, whether you missed a payment or not. It's opposition research. And they're going to find what they're going to find. And the thing about it is this, as a candidate, you got to keep your head down. If it comes out, acknowledge it. If it's true, if it's not true, keep doing the work that you keep doing it. And prosper on. But the thing about it is opposition research. This is not going away. It will never go away because this is the game we play. You call it the blood game. It's a full contact, hands-on sport, and it's a dirty game. And unfortunately, it is what it is. But the politics of it, the people of it, still need to have a right to make the final say. And just like the woman said, if you're upset about what we said or angry, we disagree. Don't sit there cussing Norman out. Get up, knock on 300 doors a day.
That's right.
And get people out to vote.
Well, I don't think that she was cussing you out.
She cussing me out now on the show. I don't know she got her own, but I didn't know what I'm saying.
I know Dorcine.
Yeah.
Dorcine is not that kind of person.
No, I know.
Dorcine is like all three of us. Mm-hmm. Dorcine is just as opinionated about, and then also she's passionate about the things that she likes.
Right.
And the people that she likes. Mm-hmm. And the thing is that when you look at politics is a interesting sport.
Right.
Because of the fact that when you say that you're going to run for an office, mm-hmm. it's just like when you say that you want to be a policeman mm-hmm. or you want to be a firefighter or whatever the case may be. They delve deep into your background. Because I know friends of mine have told me if they cheated on a test in school, they dug that up, right. about a test that they may have gotten caught cheating on, mm-hmm. So the thing is that, as both of you are saying, and as what, I'm sure that other people, are saying too, if you have done something and you are looking at possibly being in the public eye, like as far as saying elected official, that those things do come to the light. Mm-hmm. And as opposed to saying, and I don't think, and I've not heard anything about him denying anything.
Right.
As much as it's just a matter of this happened 32 years ago. Mm-hmm. People have changed, just as you said,
right.
just as Joe has said, just as Dorcine was saying. Mm-hmm. People have changed.
Right.
And a lot of things that we did back when we were younger, we may think back to it and say, I wish that I couldn't have. But sometimes,
right.
what's the phrase? A moment of anger can create a lifetime of grief. So everybody's not thinking about what they do today and the consequences mm-hmm. of what could happen years
right.
later. So that's what people have to do more.
Right. And it's not like he can't overcome. Like I said, just that will come. But also, too, we understand this. Other candidates, there's stuff going to come out there, too. We've heard things from other candidates, mm-hmm. and it's going to come. And it always comes, it's like the October surprise in national elections, 2 weeks before the deadline. This is 2 weeks before the deadline elections. It's going to be more stuff coming out for candidates and stuff like that. And whoever shows the best posture or integrity at that time and keep doing the work is going to be their candidate.
Well, at the end of the day, folks, just keep working.
Yep.
Keep grinding, and we'll see what happens. The bottom line is, to the Kinloch campaign, all of the other campaigns that are out there, do your work, because a lot of y'all, there's only going to be 2 that win that go to the general election. The other folks are auditioning for jobs. Simple
Absolutely.
as that. So Keep it moving.
When you say that audition, I know what you mean, but explain that to the general public. What do you mean when you say auditioning for
Let me
jobs?
give you a perfect example. Okay, a lot of folks are talking about voting for Mr. Todd Perkins. Let's say Mr. Todd Perkins doesn't win, but Mr. Todd Perkins is a hell of a lawyer. Hell of a lawyer. The mayor, if I'm correct, appoints the city attorney.
Right.
Other folks that are Miss Chantel Jenkins, let's say she doesn't win, but she's run Thor. She would make an excellent deputy
Absolutely,
mayor.
yeah.
All of these different folks. What is the guy, Mr. Hassan, who understands economics?
Joel Hassan.
Joe Hassan, okay, that understands economics. He would be good in the finance department. So basically, you're auditioning for jobs if you don't make it.
Absolutely, and then that's why the tactics matter, because whoever put this out, operations research, you don't find out who put it out. That person might not have a job at the end if they don't win that top two. So there's always is like a game of spades or everything playing.
I like Bid Whiz. Bid Whiz.
Bid Whiz. I'm sorry, Bid Whiz.
Bid Whiz.
So you're finding out who has the tail, who has the book to make, or whatever. And so this is all in politics. But again, you got to do the work. And
But let me go a little bit deeper. The other thing too is that, as you said, Joe, in terms of say people may be auditioning, it may not necessarily just end at the mayoral, at the Manoogian Mansion. It could go as far as the governor's mansion.
Oh, definitely.
Because there are people that are looking at positions, because you've got Mayor Duggan that's running as an independent next year for governor. And the thing is that here, there's going to be people that are not going to be successful come August the 5th. There are going to be people that are not going to be, or there's going to be a person for the mayoral race that's not going to be successful come November the 4th?
Yeah, the 4th.
The 4th. So now they in turn may be looking at the same thing. They may be looking at hoping that should Duggan win, there's a lot of appointed positions that the governor appoints people to as well. So that could be something that they could be looking at the same time. There's also, too, looking in terms of, say, with the Senate race that we've got coming up. The senators have a lot of people that work for that individual as well. So there's a lot of people that could be, as you put it, auditioning for a future job or future position with somebody that may ascend into that governor's seat or into the Manoogian Mansion and the mayoral seat.
Not only that, they do the math, they look at the numbers. Say one of the U.S. senators lose, I'm running for governor, and say that person gets 250, 300,000 votes. Well, I need to go sit down. Norman, you got 300,000 votes. Will you support me? Because that's 300,000 votes that you're going to bring to the table for me. And the question is, what do you want? Or this is what I will give you for those 300,000 votes. Ladies and gentlemen, in politics, it's like I say, a blood sport, but it's always give and take. What will I take? What will I get? And you move forward. It's going to be awesome. I think this is the start of the season, but this is where we're at. And folks, let's not act like we're new to this. Stop. Listen, when I wasn't even here, but I heard about Mr. Coleman Alexander Young, the things that they were saying about him, and I'm down there in Washington. Matter of fact, I was over in Europe and was hearing about Mayor Coleman Alexander Young when he was running.
Right.
This is the name of the game. Did it bother him? What did he do? His famous quote, I love it. He said, "Hit 8 Mile if you're doing something wrong."
Right.
You know, what did he do? Run and win. Run and win. Folks, run and win.
See, the thing right now is that there's going to be a lot of people that are looking at what's going on in this race when it comes down to Kinloch, when it comes to Perkins, when it comes to Sheffield and others that are running. And they're going to do some introspection to look at, there's some things even in my closet that I may want to think about before I put my hat in the race and say, I want to run. But then, like you just said, Joe, there's a lot of deals that may be made between candidates, between people that may not be successful, they may say, okay, fine, I'm going to put my support to one of the candidates that is successful in getting out of the primary, because they know they're going to need that support from those other candidates that aren't as successful getting out of the primary. And that, like you said, if it was 250,000 votes or if it was 250 votes, they may still need that to go and overcome the other person that they're running against.
And also with that, also sometimes opposition research will backfire on you.
Yes.
Just like she called in. She may be upset to say, I'm going to get more doors. Or people say that, you know what, that's wrong to talk about. I have a pass. I'm going to vote for that man. We saw that in this last election when the Democrats were using, oh, he's a convicted felon, he's a convicted felon. That turned a lot of returning citizens upset, mad. Wait a minute, I'm a returning citizen. I'm a convicted felon. What are you talking about? They changed the messaging on. And so that backfired in their face. And the thing about this, you got to understand people, understand how this thing goes. You got to understand how people are. And so messaging and putting stuff out there has a tendency to backfire because it'll fire up people. It will fire up people more to get out the vote or more to hit the doors. And same thing, I'm telling you how this thing works. When you got 90% of the people we talk to said they don't know. This may fire somebody up and say, wait, no, I don't like that. I changed my life. I don't deserve a second chance? Oh, no.
Listen,
I'm going to other support.
Okay, Norman, I'm going to respectfully disagree with you on something here. Listen, Trump won that election for two reasons. Mm-hmm. Number one, every time I watch Netflix or whatever I watch on TV, on streaming, every commercial was about the transgender thing, that Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris, supported the transgender changes that you could get in federal prison.
Oh, yeah.
That was not done on Biden's watch. That bill and everything was created on Trump's watch.
Right.
But he ran the commercials. People, you have to look at a situation. When we're saying returning citizens, that's different than him being a convicted felon. Trump is a convicted felon that hasn't served any time. The other folks that you're talking about, they've served time, and now they're returning. So they've paid their dues. They paid the cost to be the boss. Whatever they did, they paid their time. Trump hasn't done it. It's a different ball game.
Yeah, but I understand what you're saying, and I probably said the words wrong, Joe. You're absolutely right on that. But some folks will say that and use that as okay.
Battle cry. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. It might be a battle cry. I may have used the words on that, but you're absolutely right on that. The battle cry is out there.
Yeah.
And that people will use that, and sometimes that's one instance that they used it wrong. You never know. But also, too, again, like the job, auditioning for the job. We got after November, midterm starts November 5th.
Right.
So we had you have the governor's race, senator's race, state reps, we had Congress race, and with these new redistrict lines, how they look at all the marbles.
You forgot Secretary
of State and Attorney General.
and state Supreme Court justices.
Absolutely, that's right. And Attorney General. This is all the marbles right here. So that starts November 5th. So these folks are auditioning for not just that, but also we got state reps who are running for city council. If they don't get there, and they got to run for state reps again, to audition, they may be on. So those questions got to be had.
Well, see, that's where the questions come in. Then, if you know that your state rep wants to run for city council, now how do you look at that state rep when they ask for your support when they run for re-election again?
It's out there. It's out there. It's out.
But Norman, Joe, that's like for anything else that somebody wants to run for.
I mean, it's out there.
If you run for a position and you aren't successful at it, and then you go back to the position that you previously held when you ran, now your people in your constituents in your district or in your city or whatever the case may be are wondering, do they really have the city or the districts or the whatever best interests at heart, or are they more so thinking about running for something else? I mean, it's just something to think about. It's not saying that that's the case.
It's a lot to think about because those folks were up there talking about the lines were bad when they did the redistricting. They changed the lines again. And then you're talking about the lines are changed that everyone was satisfied about. And then now everyone who's running home say, I want to come home close. I want to be in Detroit. And the difference is this. If you don't win that primary, if you don't win that council seat, what are you going to do? Because personally, what we talk to, people are not going to send you back to the state of Michigan when you already talking about leaving. You wanted to come home.
But Norman, something you both said. You look at what's happening in terms of back to Kinloch.
Mm-hmm.
As you mentioned, that could possibly, or it could not, energize people like Dorsey Wesley or others to get out there and campaign even harder than what they had before. That could also be something where people that may not have even known about a Kinloch running, and now that puts the media out there saying, hey, there is a Solomon Kinloch that's running for mayor, and people may come out and want to support him or help him. So, I mean, it really just depends on how people look at things, because just like in the case with Trump was in the media every single day that he was running.
All day long.
All day long.
People knew that was the thing. And a lot of people said, hey, he didn't have to advertise. He didn't have to spend money in the black media to go and say, hey, I'm a candidate for president.
He just came over to Bewick and Mac.
He went over to Bewick and Mac to the barbershop, to some of the guys that's over there at the, on the corner, Bewick and Mac, and said, hey, but he showed no fear, because he even went into the black neighborhoods and said, hey, I'm a candidate running for
He went into the neighborhoods where the Democratic candidate did not go to. They kept going to the west side. They kept going to Renaissance instead of going to
the Union Halls.
Union Halls.
Yeah.
Instead of going to East English Village.
So how do you think he affected the young Americans?
How he affected the young Americans was he really put issues on talking to podcasters that talk to people every single day. Right now we're on Roku, and Roku is spread all over on the internet on the YouTube channels. When he did it, he knew where people are watching TV at. He knows that streaming numbers are high. People have cut the cord. People are not on traditional TV anymore. So people are here watching TV at their leisure, or they watch it on their phone, their devices. They hear podcasts. That's where the people are. And so that's what he talks to. And guess what? Those folks who are in that space are not the traditional media that you got to have talk to this expert or this.
MSNBC, CNN, those folks.
No. They are talking to folks who are on the ground, who are truck driving, who are working on them, who work every day on the plant, everyday hard ground workers, or folks who are in the white collar spaces in those rooms listening to podcast radio while they're doing their spreadsheets. They talk to them there. That's where everybody's at. And so the thing is that you go where everybody is at and spend your message there, not create something new or go into those same spaces on traditional media. You have to go everywhere. Like we talk to the street, we talk to the hood.
That's it.
Everybody should be here. Everybody should be here. And so that's the thing, where is that you talk to people here. Get the message out there. I mean, people are here. So why are you not here? That's the point. And so that's what he did. And he did it well. And he took just enough, not a lot of numbers, to win those 7 states. Just enough. I could just press the vote. I could get just enough, a little bit, to win all those states.
Norman, well, not wait.
I don't know, Joe. I'm just saying.
Let's deal with the
truth. Uncommitted.
Because the uncommitted in all of those states, let me tell you, the Green Party has never got the votes that they got in this past election. In the history of the Green Party, they've never got these kind of numbers. And if you look at the numbers in all 7 of those swing states, it was the uncommitted vote that hurt Kamala Harris.
Yep.
So that's why I said everything that we're talking about is right. Politics, ladies and gentlemen, is a blood sport. Get out there for your candidate. Go and work. But let me say this. My grandmother taught me this. She says, if you can't fight the effects, don't produce the cause. You see, you know what you did. I know what I've done when I was real young. I know it could come back to, to haunt me. But here's the difference is, I've owned it. Anything that y'all know about me, I don't have a problem with you knowing it about me, because I'm going to own it. Yeah, I did that. The question is how you like me now. That's the question that the Pastor Kenlock should be saying. How you like me now. What happened 32 years ago? Okay, it happened. I'm sorry. I've moved on. But look at me now. We got to stop this holding people accountable for something that happened when they were a teenager, when they didn't know no better, when they just did something that was just dumb.
Right.
Simple as that. So am I going to hold that against us the rest of life? That's the problem. If that is the case, and I'm going to say this, and people going to hate this, then we should never like white folk for bringing us over here from slavery. That's not he say, she say. All of us got history that the reason that we're here is because we were brought over here on slave ships to raise somebody else's children, our black women to be bed wenches, and our black men to be worked like slaves until they were dead, and our children sold off. So if we're going to go down that road, if we can forgive for that, I'm not getting ready to go down a road, something that's 32 years ago, and just beat up on this man. Because when you got 40,000 parishioners, I've seen the things that he's doing good, the same as I've seen what Mary Sheffield is doing. All of them are doing some good things. May the best man or woman, or the best person, because everybody's about politically correct, listen, may the best person win. Simple as that.
Well, it's so interesting because I hear a lot of people saying they'd be glad when August the 6th comes around, when you're out of the primary mode, and then they're glad when November the 5th comes around, when the election is over with, and then now, but there's no respite that people have, because once we get out of this with the local elections, now we got the state election.
No, right now we fighting fascism. No, there's no rest for the weird. We're no. We down bad. We down. No. This is
to 28. We all the way in. We all the way in.
It is what it is. We're at the point where there is no rest for the weird. We tell that to funders. We tell that to organizers. Organizers on the street know that. Hey, this ain't no rest on your laurels and stuff like that. No, the work. It is 365. Keep going until you end this fascism regime that we're in right now, and folks may be upset about it. You can't run from it. It is everywhere. No matter where you could do, you run to Canada, you can run wherever you want to. It's here. You have to face it, fight it, and also create a system where you could change the Constitution that could never happen again, and make the Constitution better for all people.
And let's go there, folks. We at war. We at war. Don't think anything else. We're at war. And when you're at war, you're constantly fighting until you win.
Absolutely.
Well, that's the catchphrase that everybody said. We fight till we win.
That's it.
And that's what NAACP says over and over again. President Derek Johnson and others, we fight till we win. Because the thing is that everybody needs to realize, stay woke. That's the important part. Everybody has to stay woke. As you just said, Norman, you can't rest on your laurels. Right. You can't fall asleep at the wheel.
Yeah, and the folks will say anti-woke. Those folks that keep using that phrase or that word, I term that as the N-word to me. And woke, that's how I look at it. And you can tell any elected official that keeps using that word, anti-woke, or we can't have these woke policies. No, that's the N-word to me, because guess what? Those woke policies kept us alive. Those woke policies led folks out of slavery. Those woke policies saw Martin Luther King march on Washington. And so when you say that, that's how I take it. And I tell that to any elected official. You keep saying anti-woke, you still follow these stupid idiots like Bill Maher that don't know the people and follow these tropes and types like that. That's what it means to us. As black folks who are organizers, that's the N-word to us.
Exactly.
Well, we got to take a break. We will be right back. Stay tuned. I'm your host, Darwin Griffin. You are watching Truth to Power. And we've got Norman Clement, we've got Joe Person, and we'll be joined shortly by Xavier Jones. So stay tuned.
From the desk of RJ Watkins, this is a WHPR editorial.
I'm Ariana Watkins, and for decades, my father, RJ Watkins, has served our community with quality radio and TV service through WHPR and Roku. Today, I'm proud to stand beside him, continuing the legacy built on trust, innovation, and your support. We're here because of you, and we'll keep bringing you the best now and for generations to come. Thank you for supporting us and growing with us.
This has been a WHPR editorial.
Hey, I know you've seen them. Those sleek vapes that everyone says is better than smoking. Here's the truth. They're not. Did you know that in Michigan, 14% of high school students use e-cigarettes? That's a lot of people risking their life for a quick buzz.
Nicotine doesn't just harm your body, it affects your mind too. It can make depression and anxiety worse, and even change how your brain handles stress. You deserve better than to let a tiny device control your mood and your future.
You know, I thought vaping was no big deal until it starting affecting my mood and focus.
Yeah, and did you know that kids who vape are more likely to smoke cigarettes?
But there's good news. You don't have to do this alone. Whether it's through friends, family, or a support group, there's always a way out.
Your health, your future, you're worth so much more than what vaping has to offer.
Detroit's got your back. Visit CUYFDcoalition.org for tools and support to help.
Watkins Broadcasting is going worldwide. Now you can watch Detroit's own WHPR on your TV from anywhere in the world. No matter where you are, you can stay in the know with WHPR TV and Roku. You can get your easy-to-install Roku box from wherever you shop for your entertainment gear. Once your Roku box is connected to your TV and internet, go to the channel store on the home menu of the Roku box. Enter WHPR TV in the search engine and add it to your channels. That's it. That's all you need to get the best in entertainment, news, and talk, no matter where you are. Roku brings all of your favorites to your TV. Netflix, Hulu Plus, Crackle, HBO Go, and now WHPR TV, Detroit Live.
Justice for Mario Willis. Truth. Facts. Evidence. Mattered. Log into justiceformariowillis.com. Read for yourself.
You're watching WHPS, Highland Park, Detroit.
Truth to Power. I'm your host, Darwin Griffin, and we are joined not only in the studio by Mr. Joe Person, who everybody knows, especially in Oakland County, but we're also joined by Xavier Jones, and Xavier Jones is the chair for the young adults.
Yes, sir, young adults.
For Western Wayne County, NAACP.
Yes, sir.
And I'm going to give you a chance before we get started in our conversation just to do a clarion call and just look into the camera and let people know what the ages are with the young adults, and to let people know in terms of say about what you may be doing in the upcoming months, because I know you've got a fish fry that's going to be coming up.
So good. Thanks for having me on, Darren. I appreciate it. Good morning, everybody. I'm Xavier Jones, Young Adult Chair of 4D Western Wayne NAACP. Young adults, we say from 18 to 40. Everybody is a young adult to somebody. Everybody's somebody's baby. So as us being the babies of this group, we're just trying to bridge that gap between the young and the old and kind of get new and young blood into the group. Coming up, we have millennials in politics as a thing that we worked on last year, where we got a lot of the millennial politicians in the neighborhood in our various cities to come and talk to us. And we have a Freedom Fund fish fry coming up. We have our Freedom Fund weekend. We're trying our best to make more of a thing about it. So I've been tasked when I stepped into the role to have this fellowship, to have the fellowship, and we decided to have a fish fry because I ran into a young man named Keon Jackson. He is also a young adult. He is the youth chair for the Michigan Farm Bureau. So we had it on his farm. We had it's a goat farm, so we had a fish fry with goats and outside in nature and stuff like that. So that's what we're working on currently for the year.
And now also too, you also work with the Telegram newspaper, correct?
Yes, sir. I've been with the Telegram newspaper for about a decade. Since 2015, I worked there through Michigan Works, and I've been there ever since. I take pictures, I write articles, I deliver the papers, I do as much as I can for the paper.
And I don't want you to get in trouble with the president and the publisher of the Telegram newspaper, so you can give her a shout out.
Thank you, Miss President Gina Wilson Stewart. We appreciate you and everything that you have done for the 3 or 4 little journalists you got. Thank you.
Well, and that's the thing, because you've been doing an outstanding job with the paper in terms of your reporting as well as taking pictures. So that's the important part. So Gina, you've got a young man that is going to be going many, many places in the future, and we appreciate you and all that you're doing, not just with the paper, but also with Western Wayne County, with the youth committee that you chair, at the same time. Now, you brought up a point, Xavier, you said about the with the millennials and with politics with the millennials. Talk about in terms of saying, and Joe, I want you to kind of, hear what he's saying, and you can, speak to this, is that when you look at a lot of young people that are involved in the political arena, what do we need to do? And we're going to be joined also by Ishmael Terry, who's on the line, to find out why aren't there more young people involved in the political arena right now? But I'm going to give you a first chance to respond to that, and then I'll go to Ishmael, and then you, Joe. So if you want to just respond, what basically are you looking to glean from the conversation with the millennials in politics?
Got you. So to get to the first part of the question, the reason you don't see as many of us out there, so I'm 31, I'll be 32 this year, for context. The reason you don't see too many of us out there is because times have changed. Being 30 is different in 2025 than it was in 95, 85, so on and so forth. The world just isn't the same how it was when you guys were 30. We don't have the time to do things. A lot of us are like really trying to live, trying to survive. So jumping into a political ring, whether it be city council, whether it be NAACP, whether it be just organizing, it takes a lot of time and money. A lot of us don't have a lot of time, and we don't have a lot of money. So it's like a order of self-sacrifice. Can I prop the community up at the expense for myself, or can I prop myself up at the expense for the community? It's a very tireless thought that a lot of us do have. A lot of us have very good intentions, but we are not in a position to sacrifice ourselves. Back in that day, back in the older days, the fight was more there. You had the young guys and the young ladies getting the fire hose and the sit-ins and all that type of stuff, and we do appreciate that fight that those people fought, but we don't have. It's different for us. So it's like, I, as a 31-year-old black male, as much as I love to fight, as much as I love my people, I can't get arrested because who knows what will happen to me in that jail cell, in that car, in anything. The fight is very virtuous and it sounds good, but I want to come home. I have people outside that love me and people that I love, and it's like that risk. Do we sit in here? Do we do this or do we that? We do this or do that, and or we risk death? You risk your life, and a lot of us, we not willing to risk our lives. We already got to risk our time and our money that we don't have, and now we have to risk our lives.
Ishmael, are you with us? Ishmael Terry.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay. Just, you heard what Xavier said. Give me your thoughts about what he just said. And what is your take? You're on the streets, you know, in terms of, say, you've got boots on the ground as to what, what you're hearing from a lot of young people in the community as to why they may not be involved in the voting process or even aspiring to want to be elected officials. What are you hearing?
Well, part of it is, and thank y'all for having me on your show, Joe, and to the young man. Part of it is that we're just not creating policies that affect young people, right? So maybe about 25 to 30 years down the road, we still haven't gotten it correct. You know, every time election cycles get to coming, we always say, what can we put out there on the ballot that get young people involved, right? Be it maybe marijuana, may it be calling it a different name, calling it Metropolitan Detroit. Like, we had to come up with these gimmicks to force young people to be more active, right? So now, because we don't have that luxury anymore, we don't think outside the box or communicate with the younger generation because we're still hell-bent on keeping a hold of what we have right now. And this generation, from Gen Z to baby boomers to military. And so because we have those structures involved, we're not getting more actively with the young people. So the young people are basically saying, well, why would, like the young man just said, why would I put my time and effort in this if you keep sticking in the past? So because you keep sticking in the past, they're like, well, it doesn't affect me yet until I get 40, until I get 50, until I get 60. And so, yeah, that's most of the talks in and throughout high schools of today's era. And as well as small, if not open, recreation centers like Boys and Girls Clubs and others who are saying the same exact thing, right? So sometimes passing the torch is a very difficult portion in our generations, in our timeline, to the next generation, because we want to hold on to something that we don't have. And a lot of other times is that, like the young man said about money, most of it, if not all, don't have a college education or some extended education, so they can't find a job outside of when they become state reps, state senators, congressmen, and all, that they lose their job, so they don't have a lackluster of identity throughout. So then they just hold on to that and keep the young people out because they're scared that the young people are going to remove them and outplace them and don't see the advancement of it. And so there's another hasty reason why young people don't get involved as well. So, I mean, until our generation, that's my generation, Gen Z and baby boomers and all, start to figuring that out, and we're going to continue to be behind the eight ball.
Okay. Thank you, Ishmael. Joe.
Part of the reason why a lot of young people do not get involved in the political process is that when I grew up, I was taught civics. Very important class, so I was taught the voting structure. I was taught all of that. So I was like, oh, let me go and vote. I'm gonna be honest, my first election when I was 18 years old was a Republican election. But I had geared up for all of those years that I had learned in school, go vote. We're not teaching that. The other piece to that, young people like the environment. They like the green, what is it, the green, they're talking about the green services in terms of solar technology and all of these different things.
With environmental justice.
Environmental justice, all of these types of things. It is time to turn people loose. In the club that I chair, I turn my young people loose because it's their time. And the other thing is, we left out, not only you didn't learn civics, Martin Luther King was good at what he did is because Reverend C.L. Franklin up here in Detroit was sending plenty of money to the SCLC down there in Birmingham, Alabama. Black people were supporting, white folk were supporting. So he didn't have time to, when you got locked up, when you didn't have time to do something, you had to worry about your family because somebody was taking care of your family. If you got locked up, they already had lawyers and bail bonders right there on the spot. So when you get locked up, Mr. Xavier, okay, I'm there. You know, I have a bail bonding company. Back in those days, if I'd had the bail bonding company, they would have given me some money. Joe, make sure Xavier and all of these young people that are going to raise hell, get them out of jail. I'd have been right there with the card, get out of free, jail card. We don't think like that. We got to invest some money into young people. Xavier, if I want you to go and be, say, the governor or a congressman or a state representative, then I need to invest money in you. Your house note is $200 a month. Okay, Xavier, here's $1,000. That pays for your house note for a year. So therefore now, if you don't have to worry about your house note, if you don't have to worry about your car note, electric, gas, you'll get out there on the front line. We got to invest in our political process and invest in the young people. Simple as that.
So one thing that I keep hearing a lot of times, Xavier, is that the older generation doesn't listen to the younger generation. Any truth to that?
The older generation doesn't listen to anybody. They don't listen to themselves either. I learned that just from me being in the NAACP for as long as I've been. I jumped back in. I've been back in about a year and a half. And even at our meetings, when I go to these state meetings, I hear a lot of older people just bickering with each other, and they don't want to try to listen to each other. And when it comes down to younger people, they really just don't care to listen. If a 60-year-old, for example, isn't trying to listen to a 60-year-old, they're not trying to listen to a 26-year-old either. It happens. It really, really happens. And we don't understand how age is really such a construct thing. So we're all just people. Older people, younger people, babies, we can't sit down for too long. We can't be focused on one thing for too long. Sometimes we all need to get up and walk it off, get our wiggles out. The same way a kindergartner does, the same way an older person does. And what I learned from the national convention I just went to in North Carolina last week is that older people, they have a history of kind of demanding more grace than they give. But at the same time, they use their lack of grace. Their age is their excuse for their lack of grace. The narrative of pretty much, I'm your parent, you're the child. You're going to do what I say because I'm the parent and you're the child. You're going to listen to me because I'm older than you and I know so much more. And a young man there, actually a youth, he said a quote that stuck with me. He said that the older people have the wisdom and the younger people have the stamina. And we have to work together with that system to figure it out. And I think that, and I will give our group some grace. And if you ask my young adults, I have a lot to say about you old guys all the time. I do. It's funny. But I respect and I appreciate you guys because y'all, like Mr. Joe said, y'all gave us the reins. I can see that the older people in the group are kind of taking a step back and letting us thrive as best as we can. So we're all still learning. Even guys in your seats and guys in my seats, every day is a learning process. Every day we're learning a new thing to figure it out. Nobody has it all figured out. And I think a lot of older people believe they have it figured out. And because they believe they have it figured out, they kind of can put themselves in an oppressive position over younger people. But I can speak for my own group and the people I surround myself with, they work very hard to let go of that. I appreciate and I respect y'all for giving us that time and that energy.
Let me say this. No, the older people don't know everything, because let's keep this real. I'm going to keep this, y'all say a buck or 100. If we had everything figured out, we wouldn't be dealing with the problems that we have in Oakland County, the problems that we have in Detroit. The city of Detroit wouldn't have went bankrupt. People in Southfield wouldn't have lost some homes and different things. The fact of the matter is that we have not been good stewards. You see, the OGs, as we say now, the older people that dealt with me, they sat me down and said, Joe Jr., sit down, let me school you about this is how you should do that. Okay. And I did it that way, and it's been a success for me. Now, when I get ready to explain this to a younger person, they don't need something this long in writing. Get to the point. If I'm gonna give you a job or I'm gonna teach you about this job, I need to tell you what time to be there, what the job description is, and what qualifications do you bring to the table for me to give you this job. Basics. We don't do that. And it's okay to make it about you. The thing about it, folks, sometimes you have to make it about you in order to climb that mountain. I'm glad here, young man, that you see the flaws, in us older folk. And see, I can accept my flaws. The problem with a lot of older folks is that it's about me. No, it's about us. And like you say, if you run for office, I and myself and Ishmael and Darwin, we can tell you exactly how to win an election if you follow the plan. If you go out, I guarantee you, sir, if you run for office, if you go out 2 hours a day for a whole year, by the time the election comes in and you get ready to run, whether it's in a primary or whether it's in a general election, especially if it's in the general election, you're going to get 30% or more because everybody has met you. Because why? You walked for 2 hours a day. Simple as that. That's just basic campaign and basic politics. Basic work with you and not be scared of you. And if you have a better plan than I have, it's okay. Because that's the way it was supposed to be done. Listen, I'm basically the past. I got more days behind me than I got in front of you. You got more days in front of you than behind you. So let's sit down and say, let's put this plan together of what you're saying, what you need, and help you get there. Because at the end of the day, I want to be able to look back when I'm dead and gone and say, wow, I sat at the table with that young brother. Something I said sparked the interest in him. Or when you got ready to do something that's, I'm going to call it like I see it, something that was inappropriate, that was dumb, you say, you know what, Mr. Joe said, don't do this way. And you conquered it. All of us have demons. A lot of seniors, they can't get past the demons that they have. And they take those demons out on you. I don't have any sons. Well, because I don't have any sons, oh, well, you don't know this, you did this bad. Well, wait a minute, I was 30 years old. I was 25 years old. I was 21 years old. But let's work together and help you get to where it is, because I'm not going to be here forever, and you can't carry it all with you. People say, what is it, knowledge is power? I tell people, no, it's not. Knowledge is only power if you use it. And that's the problem with a lot of us. We're not using the knowledge.
All right, Ishmael, I know you want to say something. Go ahead.
Yeah, so one of the things that I plan to do when I become this next state representative, and I thank the Lord that I had the opportunity to learn from a lot of good people, like John Conyers, the Honorable John Conyers, and the Honorable John Dingell, and Damon Keith, and others in my lifetime. Young man, let me say this to you. I know it's hard to hear, wait your turn. Wait your turn, because I've heard it for more than 3 decades. Wait your turn. Your turn has always been there. It's about who got in your turn to help you generate to where you want to go. One of the things that I am going to do as a state legislator is I'm going to host a monthly meeting with young people in Lansing. because of the fact that we, like Joe said, we've taken civics out of the school, I'm going to give you upfront on how civics really work, right? So you'll learn how to write a bill. You'll know what Legislative Service Bureau means and how to work with them to write a bill, what the policy will look like, understanding the word markup, and understanding that means all it is just marking up languages that's in the bill that you want to see differently. And then I'll show you how a blueback really works when you're getting co-sponsoring for those bills that you are writing. Also, you'll learn how caucuses are ran, committees are ran. So then when it is time for you to run, you're not just running like a deer with headlights. You'll be another Ishmael Terry, right? That's the whole goal of all of this. I don't want y'all to be just running to be running, because running to be running is easy for you to get manipulated. It's easy to put money in your pocket when you can't afford lawn signs and T-shirts and all of those bells and whistles that come with doing my job, right? And so I'm going to educate you in all of those facets. So then you are educating the people behind you, and so forth and so on. We're going to have a ton of Ishmael Terrys running around this damn state, because we're not going to fall for too many more of the bananas in the tailpipe. We're not going to fall for all of that nonsense that tells you that, you know, you're 20-something years old, you're 30-something years old. Well, I'm 50, 60 years old. I've seen the world twice over, and I know more than you. How could you say that if you ain't never left the city? You follow where I'm going?
Oh, yeah. So I follow you.
So we're going to create pathways for individuals like yourselves, groups of people like yourself. Your generation has to keep this going, but it can't keep going to something that is not there. It can't be invisible to the eye. It has to have a stimulation that creates environments that we can say leadership is really growing. So I have a plan to make all of that happen. And just follow the breadcrumbs, young brother, because I'm coming.
Well, Ishmael, we got to take a break. We got to take a quick break, so we'll be right back with Ishmael Terry, Xavier Jones, Joe Person. I'm your host, Darwin Griffin, so stay tuned.
Feel good about your future with tuition-free programs at Wayne County Community College District. Whether you want to be in healthcare, computer science, the culinary arts, digital media, or robotics and automation for the next generation of vehicles, WCCCD has you covered. A full range of programs to achieve your goals, fit your schedule, and give you all the support you need to be successful. All of it tuition-free. Now there's something to feel good about. Register today at wcccd.edu.
Muscles, joints, or feet tired, achy, or distressed? Tried everything? Ringmaster Rubbing Oil is a vintage topical pain reliever, trusted for over 70 years, with a rich formula for the treatment of stubborn aches and pains. Packaged in a glass bottle for purity, our liquid can also be used in warm water for foot soaks and compresses. A little goes a long way. Try our time-tested formula, available in several sizes.
Make a donation to WHBR-TV and receive two 2-ounce bottles of Ringmaster Rubbing Oil for $25. Call 313-868-6612.
Every Monday through Friday from 12 noon to 3 p.m., it's the Tavis Smiley Show, distributed by R.J. Watkins Studios.
Clean up on aisle 5. Sounds like my life right now. Just one big mess.
What's going on?
It's my property taxes.
What?
I am behind, and I am so worried that I'm going to lose my house. I can pay some of it, but I can't pay it all at once.
Sorry to interrupt. I'm Eric Sabri, the Wayne County Treasurer. The last thing I want is for anyone to lose their property to tax foreclosure. We have assistance programs to help.
For more information, go to treasurer.waynecounty.com.
We're here to help.
Arrested? You have the right to remain silent. Everything you say can and will be held against you. Don't talk to the police. Talk to me first, Attorney Warren E. McAlpine from the Action Attorney Center. I know the law and I know your rights. Whether felony, misdemeanor, drug, OWI, domestic violence, or traffic violation, I can help you. Call today. Warren E. McAlpine, 1-888-292-6908.
All media platforms are engaged. Copy. Get ready to launch your show or product. Periscope ready. We're 5x5 ready to launch. Copy that. Trend worldwide across all major platforms.
Ignition. 3, 2, 1.
The world is waiting. Watkins Broadcasting. More than just TV.
Block time is available. Get yours. Call 313-868-6612. That's 313-868-6612. Executive producer R.J. Watkins. Program director Henry Tyler. 107.5 FM. WGPR HD3. RadioWeCanSee.com.
All right, we are watching Truth to Power. I'm your host, Darwin Griffin, and we have in the studio, we've got Mr. Joe Person, Mr. Xavier Jones, and on the phone, we've got Ishmael Terry. This last half an hour that we have now, Xavier, I'm going to ask you to go, and we're going to kind of change roles a little bit. Let you be like, if you were in my position as the TV host, what questions, just a couple of questions that you would ask Mr. Person or ask Mr. Terry as to, with their expertise, with their experience, with their networking capability, with the spheres of influence that they have, what would you ask them in terms of, say, if you were in my position right now?
Thank you. So I'll start with saying this, and I would like for you to answer this one too, Darwin. At 30, 31 years old, what were y'all up to? Like, what were y'all doing at 30, 31 years old?
I was saving the world. I was in the military.
Thank you for your service.
You're welcome.
So you were saving the military?
I was saving the world. I was in the military. I'm sorry. I was in the military. And at the same token, I was raising a family. But my most important thing that I was doing then was being a good father, but also protecting the world. But I had older people that I could talk to. See, I had some great mentors, and I'm gonna be honest, like I tell people, a couple of them were pimps, but they told me said, Miss Joe, I don't want you, Joe Jr., I don't want you to grow up and be like me. These guys owned apartment buildings and stuff. I'm trying to figure out, so I learned about the business side of owning a piece of property from these guys. That was the difference in the times. Didn't matter where they came from, because we all went to church together, we all grew up together, but they taught me how I could be better than they were, and that's what I'm not seeing today.
Ishmael, I'll let you answer that before I answer.
So at 30 years old, what am I doing? 30 years old.
Act like that's a long time ago. That wasn't that long ago for you.
Man, at 30 years old, young brother, I was bouncing back and forth from Detroit to Ann Arbor. I was bouncing back those two areas because when I graduated out of college, out of Eastern Michigan, and then I was doing private health care. I was working through that session with traumatic brain injury clients. And then by 30 years of age, I created All for One. And from there, I've been, I bounced in Detroit, Ann Arbor, other cities, other states by that time. And at 30, I got away from my environment. So, kind of like how you was growing up, I grew up in the Young Boys Incorporated era, the Best Friends era, Dexter Boys, all of that, Zone 8. I grew up in all of that environment. And, yeah, I was just like, so not selling dope. You know what I'm saying? Like, I did have a firearm when I was that age, because I'm circulating back on the boulevard. I'm circulating back on Dexter. I'm going back in those areas, but then I'm also, my parents is like the Jeffersons, and we moved up. My mom got us into Greenfield and Puritan area, so then we were living middle class. So I was I had the best of both worlds. Kind of learned how to be a thug and a criminal, but then I learned how to be self-awareness, kind of learned what I liked in life. And so, you know, a kid that liked music, that can write music, not just all sports, even though I was great at it, even though I made All City in it. Yeah, I just knew that I wanted to be a politician because I had a gift of gab. Everybody knows that I talk a lot. But I was very stoic. I spent most of my times in the library. And then that's how I evolved into who I am now. And then I took that effort at 30-something, started working with Metro Youth Day and all of those things to start implementing an ideal that I had in my brain that there wasn't going to be a lot of me's running around. I laid down 1,500 friends in the ground, taking dirt naps. Most of, if not all my guys, kind of came out of incarceration and mentally are still incarcerated to this day. So I just wanted to see younger cats be better than I was or what I grew up in.
Well, see, you know, the thing is with me, when I was 30, my parents, we had a family-owned trucking business, and I was left the legacy of running a trucking business. But at the same time, too, what it did was it taught me a lot of leadership skills, because I had guys that were like twice my age that were working for me. And so that's not the easiest task to look at in trying to tell somebody who's got sons my age what to do and what not to do. And at the same time, too, you know, I was married and, you know, was just starting out in terms of, say, with that aspect of it, looking to try and see about being a responsible husband and also to look at being a homeowner. So there was a lot of things that I was looking into. And then just like Ishmael has said, I'm trying to do with some of the guys that work for me to keep them from doing something that they shouldn't be doing, like where I had some young guys that I gave a chance to work that were, you know, in college, and they were getting caught up in all that with the YBI, the Errol Flynn's and the FAs and some of these other gangs. They were out there trying to give them fast money, but it wasn't correct money. And that's what I was trying to do, to hire and bring young people off the streets to keep them from being in the streets. And as Ishmael said, from taking dirt naps, or then, as you were saying, also that could lead to being incarcerated. So that's one of the things that I looked at. But what's another question that you may have?
So what I realized, I'm just not realizing this in this moment, you guys' generation had a lot more crime and gangs than ours did. But it seems as if our generation is kind of tagged for being the violent youth. We didn't have YBI, BMF, all of those type of things. I was born in '93. About time I came to be, you know, in a young adult, there wasn't all of that stuff. But we still get kind of accused of being so dangerous and so violent, and I'm kind of just not realizing a lot of that stuff kind of trickled down from you guys' generation. Why do you think the guys from your generation aren't held as accountable for that type of stuff?
The reason that we're not held accountable like you are now is that, number one, first of all, I didn't fear, for a better lack of words, I didn't fear God as much as I feared Lee Van Person, my grandmother. Flat out, my name was all I had. So I did things that was done in the dark that you never saw. Whereas that today, you guys, when anything that you do, everybody's getting busted on TV because the minute that you do something illegal, you got to run and put it on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and everything else. You're not supposed to be doing it, but whatever you're doing, you gotta make everybody look at it and say, aha, look at me, look at what I did.
And it's so interesting like that, because it's like here, police may not know who committed a crime, but then all they got to do is go to social media or go on Facebook, and somebody is showing what they did, bragging about it, showing, the weapon that they may have used to commit a crime, all these different things.
The evidence is on the internet.
It's always on the internet. So that's all that sometimes they have to do.
And also, in my era, if I had a beef with you, you and I got together and we went to fisticuffs. We got to fighting. Whoever won, whoever lost, that was it. The generation now, if you lose, you're going to go get your 9mm and come back. If it was a fair fight, it was a fair fight.
Why is that? Why do you think that is the case?
Pride. A lot of people.
You say pride?
Pride, yeah. Who wants to get beat up in front of everybody? Nobody does. It sounds good, and let's just be honest. Y'all had y'all razor blades and stuff back in the day too. So every fight wasn't a fair fight. The same way nowadays, it happens a lot, and I can admit I can take accountability for that. As my generation, we are quick to fisticuffs, and then we are quick to exceed past fisticuffs. It's so easy to pull out a gun and to do and hurt somebody because they hurt you.
But do you think about the consequences of something like that?
No, nobody thinks about the consequences until after the fact. We are, and I can take more accountability for my generation. We're a do now, think later type of generation.
You say do now and think later.
Yes, sir. And that's one thing I don't like about our generation. And I won't say we got it from nowhere. It's us. It's a thing that we do. And I do not like it. And you get so riled up, your pride, heat of the moment, whatever feeling that you can be feeling, that's all you can think about. I'm not thinking about, hey, I have to go home to my wife. I have to go home to my mom. I got to go to work in the morning. This guy embarrassed me or he disrespected me, so now I'm going to show him who he embarrassed and disrespected. And nobody thinks about that until they sit in that jail cell, until they on the run, until you can never touch a woman again. You didn't think about that when you shot that guy. Now you locked up for 20-some-odd years.
Well, that's the thing that makes me tend to think, like, when I see a lot of the things that happen and people get these high-speed police chases, they may steal a car, they may do something and be on the run. Police may try and stop them for, I guess, bad plates or, something like that, suspended license or whatever the case may be. And they take off, and then a lot of times they run through intersections and run red lights or something like that. And then you got people that may be coming across that intersection. They may get hit and possibly injured or even killed as a result of like you said, the do now, think later, mentality, because they're not thinking in terms of, say, about the other people that are affected by the consequences of what they do. Not just in terms of, say, that person, but also the family as well. When you've got a funeral, or people put GoFundMe pages out there for people that may have gotten killed. People do drive-bys, shoot in a house because somebody's beefing with. They don't want to be seen like, they were weak or whatever the case may be in a confrontation with somebody else. And the next thing you know, they come back with a gun, shoot into a household. Then you got a 3-year-old that's laying up in the, couch watching TV. And that 3-year-old gets injured or even killed, as a result. Same thing with bystanders that may be out in front of the house and they see somebody go past. Bullets have no names on them. So that bullet that travels out of that gun, it doesn't have, well, okay, I see this is Joe, I see this is Xavier, or this is Darwin. That's not who my target is. It's for somebody else. And that's the part that makes it so rough, when the consequences of, like you said, sitting in the holding tank or sitting behind bars or waiting for to be, to have the attorney that may be representing you, and you got to explain to him or her what you did. And they're kind of looking at you, but they got to represent you. because they may be a court-appointed, attorney. So that's the thing that we need to instill more in young people and older people, because we do the same thing. We're not saying it's just young people, not at all. Older people do the same thing. We think now and not think about the consequences later as well. So that's something that's intergenerational.
You know what else too is that I look at the young people. When I've seen them on TV, like when I'm watching the news, they'll show young people that are on trial and they're getting ready to be sentenced. You're traumatized because for that moment of passion, anger, your whole life is, I see it in their eyes, it's flashing before them while they're sitting there like, wow, I'm gonna do the rest of my life in jail, no chance of parole. I ain't gonna be able to see my wife, girlfriend, whatever. I can't go out to the club no more. I can't go to a concert. I can't see my children. It's that moment that you're traumatized. And a lot of times I applaud the gentlemen that come back from it that are trying to teach in the jails, don't be like me. But at the end of the day, it's cause and effect. It's generational in the sense that we did not, and I'll own mine. My two daughters I raised them. They understand how to live and let live. But a lot of us, if you don't have a man in the house to teach you these things, the guy that's the gangbanger, the guy that's down the street that's doing no good, or the fact that you don't see a man treating a woman with respect. All of these things play into what you do. And if nobody's there to teach you, you just act out. And the other piece is, what is it? The corporations spend, oh my God, well over $200 billion in marketing. A lot of y'all see, what is it, Tour of Duty. Matter of fact, Tour of Duty, the first Delta Force, it was my Delta Force team that they used. They came out to Fort Bragg and looked at us and set it up, and we ran the first trials that you saw that are on that game. You look at that, and then you start shooting, and then you driving the cars fast, all of these different games. All of this is designed to make you think you're something more than what you are. The real deal is just entertainment. Once you leave away from that tour of duty shooting on TV or driving that car on TV, that's it. You don't go jump in your car and go do something dangerous or think you can outrun the police and nothing's gonna happen. But that's all our fault. And brother, most of us won't own what we've done.
Ishmael, did you have a comment?
Yeah, so I'm the guy that's in between both big homie Darwin and big homie Joe. I'm the generation that's in between. Well, yeah, I'm in between. I'm at the end of where Darwin is, and I'm in that space. So late 60s, 70s, 80s to the mid 90s, probably about before you were born in this world in 93. Yeah, we didn't have no conscience about what we was doing. So we was the generation that was teaching you guys who y'all are today, right? The only thing different is that we didn't have social media. We ain't had none of those things, but we were out there racing cars. Most of our cars were old school cars, like Regals. I had a Regal, Bonnevilles, and things of that nature. I remember at that time frame, we were the #1 murder capital at that time. Right? Not Chicago, not New York, but Detroit. At that time period, you had Flint, Saginaw, Pontiac, all of those small hoods wanted to be like Detroit. And so we didn't think like this was going to carry over to something else. We were teaching y'all young guys. Y'all was looking up to us at the time. And yeah, we didn't have the education coming into it either. The guys in Darwin's and Joe's age brackets, they weren't teaching us how to live this better utopia. And then here we are trying to teach you guys how to do this, right? So now you guys are paying attention to us. We listening to NWA, Too Short, all of these things. We mimicking off of Boys in the Hood, New Jack City, right? Because we, of course, what Joe said, we don't have a father figure in the house. So we're looking at these things as, hey, this is how we can live, right? And so now here you guys come in 92, 93, 94, and so forth. You seeing what we're doing, you imitating it, and then you took it to, you know, now the generation even after you are taking it even to a more advanced. They straightforward, right? They're not really even paying attention to the breadcrumbs that lead them. It's $2 billion that go into private industries for private jails. So they ain't paying no attention. You're only paying 5 cents to a dollar, basically, for each head laying inside of the prison. So you're getting free labor. That's where slavery came from anyway. You know, it's still enacted to those private industries called prisons, right? So you're not even being taught all of those things. So while you're not being taught all of those things, you are creating this narrative. And like Darwin and I said, because I know about all of the cats over there in Joy Road, right, off of Southfield, right? I know all of them. I had T. Grizzy in my program before he became T. Grizzy. And I know about what it takes to create that narrative, and I know how you can end it. And in the heighten of it all, y'all can't be afraid to ask, get your pride out your butt, and be like, okay, you know what? I didn't think I was the smartest banana in the room anymore. I need some help. I'm seeing young men, young ladies, even to today, young ladies are more worse than young men are.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's a gravitational pull, right? If I ain't teaching you and I ain't educating you, these cats are over here going to educate you. Now, you're going to take what you're going to take out of it, and you're going to learn what to do and what not to do, and then you're going to take that, hopefully, and make the next generation better. But, yeah, that's my fault, dog. I ain't going to even lie to you. I'm going to say it on your show, on your television show. That's my fault. And the ones that came up in the late 70s, and the early 70s until 92, 94, right? That's our fault. But then we pointing the fingers at Darwin and Joe's generation because they didn't give it to us. So we had to give you guys what we had. Mm-hmm. And so it's easy to dramatize it. It's easy to magnify it. It's easy to plaster it all on TV and everything and saying this is why black kids are doing this. But they're not highlighting what the things do that black kids of today are doing that's positive. So you got to remember that as well. So don't take it to a grain of salt. Keep to your humble. Keep to your to what you're trying to do, and then everything else will work itself out.
Well, Ishmael, Joe, you know, listening to what you are saying, Xavier, is there anything else that you, because see, the one topic I wanted to talk to you about, but I don't think we have enough time to really get into, is that I'm not seeing a lot of young people in church like we were back when we were growing up. I'm sure Dorothy Terry probably grabbed Ishmael by the ear and yanked him and pulled him into the church. And I'm sure that probably your mother, your father may have went and said
3
to
times
you,
a week. 3 times a week.
And see, and that's the thing, where it's like last week I had a guest on the show and was talking about church is not just on Sundays. Mm-hmm. Church is other days throughout the week because, you know, you caught up with all different activities in the church. But the question that I want to let you ask us real quick, Xavier, is that what advice would you give you in terms of, say, especially because you see there's a lot of issues with guys that need help. They just want to ask, you know, generations for help. And we're not trying to bypass. That's the purpose of what we're having this conversation today, is to give you a chance to ask us questions. And at the same time, too, that to let you know what it is that's concerning to you as opposed to us assuming what's concerning to you. So what would you ask?
Gotcha. I want to start by saying I do appreciate all 3 of y'all just for even just acknowledging the mistakes of the past and being prepared to fix it with my generation. It means a lot to hear all of that. If I were to have some questions or some advice for myself, if I can look to myself, I would say like what Ishmael said, wait your turn. We are, because everything is so fast paced, because social media, y'all didn't have social media. I think that's the biggest divide between the generations is back when y'all was doing stuff, nobody knew about it. Now, like you said, nowadays, if somebody was to do something now, they want everybody to know about it. They're gonna run straight to whatever social media platform.
And why is it? Why do they brag and put it out there like that to let everybody know what they did and who they did it to?
As a media guy, Darwin, you would know this. If it bleeds, it leads. What would honestly get more attention? Hey y'all, I just got me a job. I'm working my first job at Arby's, y'all. Other than, hey y'all, I just got this gun and I just robbed somebody. What attention? You know, everybody likes attention. The technology just kind of warped how people seek attention nowadays. Like I said, I'm sure, like I said, back in y'all days, y'all knew people with stacks of money and guns and stuff like that. They just wasn't taking pictures with it and showing everybody they had money and stacks of guns. Unfortunately, that's what my generation does.
But you know, it's so funny, not to cut you off, Xavier, but it's like you show you got stacks of money. It's almost like you're advertising somebody to come and try and take that money.
No, you're making yourself a target.
You're making yourself a target.
Circle of life, I guess.
In our days, you had that money. The OGs were telling us, go buy you an apartment building, go get you something, and stop working for the white man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and things have just changed now. We just haven't done it. We weren't there for you. See, I was fortunate. My father died when I was 13, but the men around me made sure I went to the baseball game, made sure. I had one guy told me, I better not catch you on the corner after 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night. And he would come a couple of times on a Friday and a Saturday night. He actually came to see if we were on the corner. I was there one night. Oh my God, I never was on the corner again. 7:30, I was out. I was home.
Well, Ishmael, we got about a couple minutes left. I'm gonna let you make a closing comment.
Once again, I can't say no better than what I'm loving what I'm hearing. Dude, just keep your head up, man. You know what I'm saying? Just keep your head on the swivel. Keep your ears to the ground, your 10 toes down. Make sure that people know who you are, what you stand for. You're not a no-nonsense kind of person. I'm a ha-ha, kiki with you. I'm going to tell you what you want to hear sometimes. I'm going to listen to what you got to say. But I'm serious about my craft. And so once you have that notion inside of you, nobody can penetrate who you are as a person. So keep that in mind.
Now I'm going to flip the script a little bit. Okay, what advice, Xavier, would you give to Ishmael, having just met him?
Don't be afraid to take any losses. From what I've been hearing about you, you seem, like you said, very well-rounded, like your feet been in the street for a while. And don't be afraid to ask questions, and don't be afraid to meet new people, and don't be afraid that every interaction won't go your way. Sometimes things don't go our way, and that's fine. We just got to shake ourselves off and move on to the next one.
Okay, now do the same with Joe Person.
Keep doing what you're doing with those young people, Mr. Joe.
Thank you.
You pour into them, and they'll pour into you. That's how we operate. I know a lot of our people seem like we don't care, but we do care. A lot of us haven't been shown a certain type of care. Like, care is a cycle, so we all care for each other. So the reason that a lot of us seem like nobody has poured into us. A lot of us feel like nobody has poured into us, so it's a lot of empty 30-year-old cups running around. We can't pour nothing out because we feel as if nobody has poured into us. So we just keep pouring into each other.
Okay, we got 1 minute left. Now you can do the same with me.
Darwin, same thing. Keep it up. Pour into the young people in the group. I know you seem like a busy man. Step up and show up when you can. Just be prepared to show up. Be prepared to face criticism. be prepared to take a back seat sometimes. And from what I said, from what I have been seeing in the group, the older people in the group y'all are tired too. So y'all are taking a step back to the best of y'all abilities and letting us figure this thing out.
Well, we're going to have to ask you to come back on the show again. Joe would love to, come back on the show again. Ishmael, thank you for all of your words of wisdom that you impart on the show. Want to thank Norman Clement. Want to thank Dorothy Wesley for calling in. But you've been watching Truth to Power. This is an intergenerational conversation we had today. And we're going to continue to have these type of conversations, in the future. So again, want to thank Xavier Jones, Joe Person, Ishmael Terry, Norman Clement, Dorothy Wesley. I'm your host, Darwin Griffin, and stay tuned. We will be back with more conversations like this on Truth to Power. Have a great weekend.